Nebraska fans everywhere are still waiting on confirmation whether or not star quarterback Dylan Raiola will return to the Huskers next season or if he will actually enter the transfer portal effective immediately. And the rumor mill, it has been swirling over these past couple hours. Sources indicate that Dylan Raiola is nearing a decision that he will announce publicly very soon. So in today's video, I'm going to break down this massive behind the scenes update, what Dylan Raiola has been telling people in Lincoln, what the team knows for a fact, what the coaching staff knows for a fact, how his uncle getting fired impacts this entire situation, the NIL dispute. Will he stay? Will he leave? Where the Huskers go from here? And everything else you need to know. So really quick, this is a big time jam-packed update. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And also, this is the only channel on Nebraska YouTube that posts this type of stuff. And we are just speeding up as we get closer to the transfer portal. If you want daily updates, staying in tune with the Huskers this offseason, it's a no-brainer. It takes 2 seconds to join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. We are nearing the 4th week of what national pundits have widely recognized as the Nico situation 2.0, the drama between Nebraska and Dylan Raiola. Will he stay? Will he leave? Will he enter the transfer portal? And I want to make this very clear to begin the video. We need confirmation now. We need to give Dylan Raiola an ultimatum now, because the longer this goes on, you could argue the longer this goes on, it maybe increases Nebraska's odds of retaining him. I think you're correct. The longer this goes on, the more likely our odds of Dylan Raiola staying. That's true. However, the longer this goes on, it's screwing over Nebraska, because if Dylan Raiola were to leave, Nebraska really doesn't have any other options. Okay, if he's to leave on New Year's Eve, then we have to attack the portal with pretty much no notice. Whereas if he just announces, hey, I'm going to leave Nebraska, it is what it is, we can end that on better terms, and we can go ahead and prepare for the transfer portal, prepare to get some guys to compete with TJ Lateef. So the longer this goes on, he's not doing any favors for Nebraska. He's screwing over the university. So Nebraska needs to make it very clear to Dylan, hey, we want you back, but you need to make it public to us what you're doing. You can't just continue to play us, continue to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. People argue, they'll say, well, Wilson, maybe Dylan Raiola has told the team what he's doing, that he's told the coaching staff what he's doing, but he hasn't told the public just yet. That's not the case. And you guys know me, I talk to players almost every single day. The players, as of yesterday, the people I talked to, they still have no idea what Dylan Raiola is doing. While Dylan's in Lincoln, he's participating in everything, he has not made it clear to anybody if he's going to stay with Nebraska next season. Okay, he hasn't addressed the rumors at all to the team. The coaching staff has no idea. Okay, for that reason, Matt Rule, he's been on multiple podcasts. He said, you know what, I'm not going to talk about Dylan Raiola's future. If he knew that Dylan Raiola was staying, he would tell you for a fact. Okay, if Dylan Raiola knew he was staying, he would also tell you for a fact. Dylan Raiola is very active on social media. So the coaching staff does not know. They've made it clear they want him back. The team wants him back, but they also don't know. And there are a lot of players who believe that it's more likely than not that he will still leave. So that narrative is not true. And Dylan Raiola, the entire family knows how this works. They know what they're doing, right? They know that they need to make an announcement. Because there was the whole article written by CBS a couple weeks ago that Dylan Raiola is considering to enter the portal. That doesn't come out of nowhere. Okay, so now it's more highly anticipated that he's going to leave than if he were to stay. So he can't just be silent about this whole situation. He needs to make it clear one way or another. Are you staying or are you leaving? We forget that last year, this entire situation happened, right? Where there were some rumors Dylan Raiola was going to leave, and within 1 hour, he squashed them. The coaching staff squashed them too. Matt Rule squashed it too. So you're telling me last year when this happened, you squashed it within 1 hour. However, this year, you're not even squashing it within 4 weeks. It's clear the rumors have some validity to them. It's very clear. Okay. And this is somebody who is very online. Like Dylan Raiola is very active on social media. He knows how this works. It's all adding fuel to the fire, and it's a bad look for him. It's a bad look for this university. It's a bad look for everybody involved. So we need confirmation right now. We can't have the situation play out any longer. So with that being said, let's get to the update. What's been going on behind the scenes? Is Dylan Raiola actually going to return? There has been increased perception that the odds are more likely Dylan Raiola is to stay than if he were to leave. Because, again, we know the Matt Rule connection speaks volumes. That's been said over these past couple of days. There was an article written by an insider saying that, Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola are aligned, kind of hinting at the fact that it's going to be announced very quickly. It was also reported that the part of the reason why Matt Rule kept Dane Holgorsen here, despite the fact that our offense was actually worse than our defense this year, is to appease the Raiola family, to appease Dominic, to appease Dylan, because they have a great relationship with Dane Holgorsen. And it would be an awful look if you got rid of your offense coordinator, had a third offense coordinator in 3 years of Dylan Raiola's career, and try to keep Dylan here. So part of the reason Dylan hasn't announced anything yet is because they're keeping Dane here to appease him. That's number one. Number two, again, we know that Dylan Raiola still lives in Nebraska. So again, a lot of people are still indicating, well, it's going to be hard for his heart to say no to the Huskers. I don't think that's necessarily too wrong. And we also know that while it is true, the tampering is going on, right? Oregon's involved, Texas involved, kind of the usual suspects are involved. It's been reported for a long time now. He's not getting the price tag that he's looking for. Again, it's money nowadays. It's all about money. We know how it is. I think there's a misconception that Nebraska fans are dumb, that college football fans are dumb. We aren't dumb. We know how this works. Money talks. And the Raiola family, they're looking for money, as is everybody else. I don't blame them for looking for money. But we know in Nebraska, we're offering them $3.5 million. Okay, that's a great amount. That's a great chunk of change. But they're looking for more from schools like Texas Tech, Oregon. And they're not getting the money they're looking for as of right now. That could change, but as of right now, that's the reason why they haven't entered the portal. Is because, while, again, Dylan Raiola, the day that Dayton Raiola decommitted, Dylan Raiola followed 1 million Oregon accounts. Doesn't come out of the blue, right? It's because Oregon's tampering. It's because Oregon's getting involved, along with other schools. And that's been confirmed other than the Instagram thing. But again, Oregon's not offering the money he's looking for. Although Oregon's offering the starting job with Dante Moore going off the NFL this year, it needs to be more than that. And again, money talks. But there is a wrinkle to the whole money situation, where as of right now, Dylan's not getting the money he wants from other schools. We know Nebraska's not willing to go crazy, just go crazy. We're not going to offer him extra money to keep him here. We're not going to be desperate. Bryce Underwood potentially entering the portal with all the Michigan stuff going on right now. Sharon Moore, of course, his outing in Ann Arbor. If Bryce Underwood were to enter the portal, which some rumors indicate, that's going to inflate the quarterback market. So if Bryce Underwood enters the portal, he might get $10 million from LSU. He might get $10 million at an SEC program. And if Bryce Underwood's getting $10 million, you better believe Dylan's at least going to get 7, at least going to get 8. So that's something that we should watch very, very closely, the Bryce Underwood situation, because he's going to inflate this entire market, very similar to what you see in the NFL. So again, we know the Matt Rhule connection. We know he loves Nebraska. We know that he's not getting the money he wants from other schools. And also, we know that Steven Sipple has been on the radio as of recently, and I personally really like Steven Sipple. I know that some people feel whatever they want way about him. I like Steven Sipple. I think he's a good guy. I think he knows what he's talking about. And say what you want about Steve Sipple, he knows the Raiola family very well. And he's been on a radio tour over these past couple of days, kind of hinting at the fact that Dylan Raiola is returning. Again, he talks to Dominic on the regular. But I'm going to push back on some of the stuff that Steven Sipple has said. Steven has said, well, Dominic told me that Donovan Raiola getting fired doesn't impact Dylan's future at all. Well, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. The only reason Dylan came here is because of Donovan in the first place, along with a couple other reasons. But you think if Donovan wasn't here, he was going to come here? No. Okay, part of the reason Dylan didn't enter the portal last year is because we kept Donovan. Okay. The only reason Donovan was retained by Matt Rhule from Scott Frost is to even have a chance at landing Dylan Raiola in the first place. So yes, Donovan getting fired impacts Dylan. It's naive to not think that. Okay, Donovan is like a second father. Dylan, that family is very close. It's like if you fired your father, if you fired the father of your quarterback, of course that's going to have implications. So I don't necessarily agree with that point, even though that's been widely acclaimed. It's also been said that Dylan Raiola came here to be different, right? He doesn't really care about the money. He doesn't care about anything else. He just came here to be different. That's been another thing that's been said on the radio that Dominic's been kind of trying to put out there, right? I agree with that. Like he was being different going to Nebraska over Georgia or Ohio State. However, he came here because of money too. The reason he came here is because Nebraska offered a lot of money at the last second for him to flip over to Georgia to here. Okay, if you think we offered him pennies, he would have came here? No. Okay, and again, that's not a shot at him. I get it. That's how it works. I would be the same way if I was a recruit. So the whole perception that, again, Dominic getting fired impacts nothing, that's not true. It impacts a lot, along with Dayton decommitting, along with, again, the money factor. Okay, so although that's been all said, that's on the radio, that, Dylan's kind of nearing, he's going to come back. I don't doubt that, but I also don't doubt the fact that Donovan being fired impacts that likelihood in a negative way. So let's return to the facts. We know that Dylan is back in Lincoln as we speak. He's participating in everything. He's going to meetings, right? Which is the expectation. Doesn't mean he's confirmed to come back. That's the expectation, right? He's still on this football team. Of course he has to be here, okay? It's still TBD whether or not he'll be in Las Vegas for the bowl game. It was reported that when Donovan was fired, he was upset, but he was not surprised. And also, as we just talked about, the team still has no idea what he's doing, okay? And these aren't some scrub players who have no idea what he's doing. There are some of Dylan's best friends who don't know what he's doing. Just take my word for that. Like, some of the best players on this football team have no idea. Okay, it's because Dylan doesn't know. It's because they haven't made anything clear to anybody. And people will say, okay, Wilson, you told us all this information. Let's say Dylan's coming back. Why hasn't he made it official? Why hasn't he, said anything about it? Well, the reason why he hasn't made it official, maybe his heart of hearts he still wants to return to Nebraska, but the reason why he hasn't told anybody that is because it's all strategic. There's no advantage for him to do that because he's still, whether you like it or not, he still has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If Dylan Raiola were to go on social media right now as we speak and go on his Instagram story and say, Nebraska fans, I'm back. Let's shut down the rumors. What do you think happens? Oregon's offers dropped. Texas Tech's offers dropped. Okay, he has no other outside interest anymore. The bidding war's gone because he's back to Nebraska. So what he's trying to do right now, which again, I don't blame him for, is he's trying to keep 1 foot in. He's not trying to burn any bridges. He's saying, you know what? I still have the option to return to Nebraska, but I still want options to go elsewhere if the offers increase. if those opportunities look better than Nebraska, if maybe I go to a better coach, better situation. Okay. So that's why he hasn't announced anything publicly, is because he wants to keep all his options open, which again, very strategic move. You see that happen all over the country. He doesn't want to enter the portal officially until he knows for a fact where he's going. Okay. Smart quarterbacks like him need to know. They're not just going to enter the portal and then get screwed over. Like they saw what happened with the Nico situation last year. Okay. Nico entered the portal and he had no idea where he was going. So they're saying, you know what? This is a Nico situation 2.0. We want money just like Nico does. We're both really good quarterbacks. We want to make sure we get ours. But unlike Nico, we're learning from him. We're not going to enter the portal until we kind of know what's going to happen. And we're still going to keep that Nebraska offer on the table just in case. We're not trying to burn any bridges like Nico did. So that's why it's a little bit different than the Nico situation, although it's very similar. So let's say Dylan comes back. Okay, let's all put on our imagination caps. Because I do think it is more likely now that he's returning than if he's not. The longer this goes on, yes, it is more likely he's come back. And nothing's a done deal, nothing's confirmed, nothing's guaranteed, everything's unpredictable. But let's say he returns. Is this even a good thing at this point? Because, I mean, let's just keep it real. Dylan Raiola maybe hasn't burned a bridge, it's not at university, but he's burnt a bridge with the fan base. He really has. It's naive not to think so. Nebraska fans aren't stupid. I know people think Nebraska fans are stupid. People think college football fans are stupid. We aren't stupid. And we understand what this situation has become. Again, we understand the leverage. And again, I don't blame Dylan for it personally, but I can't speak for the whole fan base. Some of the fan base probably doesn't love Dylan for that. If Dylan were to come back, I'd welcome him back with open arms, but I can't speak for everybody. Okay, the Raiola family kind of has done themselves no favors. With Dayton decommitting, with, of course, his uncle being fired, the CBS article that was leaked. People blame the media all the time. They say, well, the media's made this a big story. It's kind of came out of nowhere. No, the media hasn't done anything. The media's ran with a story that's legit. If Dylan Raiola didn't want this to be a story, he would already just say he's come back, and then there would be no story. So again, everybody's pointing fingers, oh, it's the media who's propping this up. No, it's not. Because it takes 1 minute to confirm all this and have it all go away. So the fan base, for that reason, even if Dylan were to return, there's going to be some people who feel some sort of way. Okay? They know the dynamics have changed in this relationship. And there's going to be a part of the fan base that doesn't support him anymore. Even though I still think Dylan's a fine quarterback, there's going to be a lot of fans who say, you know what, Dylan is unloyal. And he's shown that. Even if he returns, there's going to be fans who say, you know what, I'm going to support Dylan, but he's on a shorter leash now, and he can't mess up. And there's going to be some fans who just demand a quarterback battle either which way, who are moved on to TJ now, because TJ has not put us through this entire situation. So that's why it's imperative, and I know players watch my videos, and I hope some people in the Raiola family watch my videos. I'm begging, please announce what you're doing either which way right now. If you're leaving, tell us. If you're staying, tell us. I know what this is. I know it's all leverage, but you don't understand. The longer this goes on, it's hurting relationships inside that building. It's hurting the fan base's perception of Dylan. People are not going to forget this. They just aren't. And it's going to impact his future with us. Now, if Dylan were to leave, I mean, it is what it is. I told you guys before, like, if Dylan were to leave, I don't blame the kid. I don't, because I understand. I'm a Nebraska fan at heart. I want the best for this university. But I also understand through Dylan's shoes. If Dylan wants to go get more money and he wants to go to a better program objectively like Oregon, yeah, do that. And I'm going to root for you every step of the way. So I don't blame Dylan, but make that decision now. You can't continue to play Nebraska and then leave last second. It's either you announce you're staying or announce you're leaving. And if he does leave, where does Nebraska go from here? I mean, we got to go get a backup option. We got to go get somebody in the portal, right? I mean, we're paying him 3.5 right now. I only expect Nebraska to use some of that money. I expect to use probably $1 or $2 million to get a new quarterback to compete with TJ. We're going to get a top dollar quarterback like, Lauren Orsellis or Bryce Underwood, Sam Levitt, but we're going to get a dude. We're going to get probably a group of 5 dude, an FCS dude to come in here and compete with TJ at the very minimum. So again, we just need to know that now, because again, if Dylan, let's say he kind of puts us on a string and then he enters the portal on January 1st, then we have to scramble, right? And then we might not get a very good quarterback, or might not get a quarterback at all, which would be the worst scenario, even though I still believe TJ, but TJ needs competition, right? Everybody needs competition. That's why I've been preaching this entire time. So we'll monitor it very quickly. We'll monitor it, and I'm sure we're going to get confirmation soon, because again, I do believe that the longer this goes on, they kind of know what it is, right? They know everything I just told you. Everybody knows it. This isn't like a whole hot take. This shouldn't be a very controversial video. Like, I think everybody's kind of on the same page. We want this drama to end. We want this to be announced. And then people will ask, okay, what is this? Let's say Dylan comes back. What does this mean for TJ? Is TJ going to leave then? I can tell you right now, TJ's not leaving. I can tell you that for a fact. I don't know much for a fact, but I can guarantee TJ's not leaving. Just take my word for that. You guys know who I know, and I know that TJ's staying because he loves Lincoln, he loves his friends, he wants to stay, and he wants to battle. Okay, he's not about playing right away. He's not about all the money. He just wants to stay at Nebraska because he's loyal. Also, Marcus Davila, no really question about him. I do believe if Dylan comes back, Marcos will leave. It's kind of a yin-yang situation. It's either Dylan leaves and Marcos stays, or Dylan stays and Marcos leaves. It's kind of just whatever happens with Dylan with Marcos, because he's not going to stick around to be a third string quarterback. You know what I mean? Just wanted to address that at the end of the video. All right, guys. Hope that makes sense. Can keep the. I know everybody's going to agree or disagree. It's always a controversial video when we talk about Dylan Raiola. I mean, it doesn't need to be controversial. It really doesn't need to be. We all want Dylan to succeed. I think most of us want Dylan back to have at the very minimum a quarterback battle. But we also want the drama to stop, and we just want this to be announced. So let me know in the comments down below. Hey, if you made this far, hit the like button, subscribe. As always, folks, go great, go Met Rule, and I'll see you in the next one.